Good morning, Bande Matram. Welcome all of you. So, in the process of this Savitri summarization, we are going to see the beautiful discussion, beautiful, brilliant description, and almost the description will be on silence, the mystic birthplace of the soul. So we are in the process of Savitri summarization, where we are actually in the self of mind. Book 2, Canto 13. Book 2, Canto 13 in the self of mind. The major point of focus will be on the topic silence, the mystic birthplace of our soul. Already we have seen in a couple of occasions this great unbarriered description, that is on incredible description. Somewhere we have found the great 5 lines Sri Aurobindo has quoted here. Hidden in silent depths the word is formed. Hidden in silent depths the word is formed. From hidden silences the act is born. Hidden in silent depths the word is formed. From hidden silences the act is born. Into the voiceful mind the laboring world. In secrecy wraps the seed. In secrecy wraps the seed the eternal source. Silence the mystic birthplace of the soul. So this glorious description, of course, we come across in our exploration. Actually, this is Lord's expression, what he has seen and explored, and he has described. That is what we are only here to quote, to know few lines how really that greatness has been gratified. Against theorem, the quotes in the Self of Mind, Book 2, Canto 13, in the process of this Savitri summarization. At last there came a bare indifferent sky. At last there came a bare indifferent sky where silence listening to the cosmic voice. Bare indifferent sky where silence listening to the cosmic voice but answered nothing to a million calls. Calls are not one and two, but they are in millions, and of course answered nothing, no answer to a million calls. The soul's endless question met with no response, no question, no response. Question is there, query is there, call is there, but there is no response. An abrupt conclusion ended eager hopes. Hopes are there, eager hopes, but abrupt conclusion ended. A deep cessation in a mighty calm. A deep cessation in a mighty calm, a finish line on the last page of thought. A deep cessation in a mighty calm, a finish line on the last page of thought, and a margin and a blank of wordless bliss. Say, they are paused, the climbing hierarchy of worlds. Climbing hierarchy of worlds, they are paused. He stood on a wide arc of summit space. That is the great description. He stood on a wide arc of summit space, alone with an enormous self of mind. Again, I will try to quote that brilliant description. He stood on a wide arc of summit space, alone on an enormous space self of mind, which held all life in a corner of its vast. Which held all life in a corner of its vast. Omnipotent, immobile, and aloof. In a world which sprang from it, it took no part. Just imagine how one corner, omnipotent, immobile, and aloof, in the world which sprang from it, it took no part. It gave no heed to the paeans of victory, no heed to the paeans of victory, took no part. And it was indifferent to the own defeats. It was indifferent to its own defeats. It heard the cry of grief and made no sign. Impartial fell its gaze on evil and good. It saw destruction come and did not change. This impartiality we can see. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully. His mind reflected that vast quietism, calmness. That we can see here. No heed to the paeans of victory, indifferent to its own defeats. Cry of grief and was heard but made no sign. Impartial fell its gaze on evil and good. There is no partiality for evil and good, impartial. It saw destruction come and did not move. an equal cause of things, a lonely seer and a master of multitude of forms. He's standing and observing the things. Anyway, this is a really great topic for a discussion. And now we are going to summarize a little bit and see how it is really moving and how can we be able to summarize this greatness of this realm. Atshapati arrives at an abrupt silence. Already we have seen silence, the mystic birthplace of soul. What we are going to focus upon. Where the climbing stairs of the world possess, climbing stairs of the world possess there. He stands alone with the immense self of mind. Stands alone with the immense self of mind which is omnipotent but aloof from the world. Omnipotent but aloof from the world that has sprung from it. It does not participate in all movements of this world. Not actually, he is not participants with the movements of the world, but bears equally. So already we have seen impartial, takes no part, indifferent like this. Ashwapati reflects the vast quietism. So vast quietism, that is the major characteristic in the realm, in the self of mind. This witness silence, already we have seen. This silence, how it is, this witness silence is a real base of the thinker and the origin of the word. Already we have seen mystic birthplace of the soul, that is has been described. Silent, the word already we have seen, and we have already initial, in the very initial lines we have quoted. Hidden in the silent depths, the word is formed. From the hidden silences, the act is born. Into the voiceful mind, the laboring word, in secrecy, wraps the seed, the eternal sows. Silence, the mystic birthplace of the soul. Again, we find here um, here made the seeing self and the potent energy and the creation actually ensues. Ashwapati watches the world from this height, and seems to grasp the meaning. Watches from the height and grasp the meaning of its thoughts and forces. He feels that silence. Already, one thing is that great feeling is that this peace of the ultimate, in that this silence, he believes that this silence, this peace is ultimate. Only two things are there: silence and peace. Suddenly a ray of light falls upon the scene. A ray of light inside that silence and this great depth. One ray of silence, the light actually falls upon the scene and shows to him nothing really known. That from that height he is observing, a ray of light is actually penetrating, falling upon the truth. By knowing all is known, the truth by knowing who is all is known and yet to be reached, that truth yet to be reached, not yet. In the above thought and sense, above the thought and sense, all knowledge built by the mind appears unsound, appears to be unsound, unreal, and all experience in life is converted into the fixed mental forms, that is more dead than alive. More dead than alive, the entire mental edifice collapses. That is the great thing. Entire mental edifice is collapsing there. Let us read a couple of lines from Sri Aurobindo's original writings, because it is really touching, really touching. We'll find not more, only couple of lines we'll see. A seeing self and a potent energy met in God's supreme withdrawn and timeless hush. Supreme withdrawn and timeless hush, a seeing self and potent energy met. The silence, how it is. The silence knew itself, and the thought took form. The silence knew itself, and the thought took form. Self-made from the dual power, creation rose. Creation rose. Self-made from the dual power, creation rose. In the still self he lived, and in him its mute, immemorable listening depths, its vastness and its stillness were his own. Anyway, apart, unbound, he looked on all things done. Apart, taking no part, unbound, not bound, he looked on all things done, as one who builds his own imagined scenes and loses not himself in what he sees. So again, he looked on the world and watched its motive thoughts. That great observation is that exploration and observation we can find with the burden of luminous prophecy in their eyes. Again, all now he seemed to understand and know. All now he seemed to understand and know. Desire came not, nor any gust of will. The great perturbed inquirer lost his task. Nothing could was asked nor wanted anymore. There he could stay, the self, the silence own. His soul had peace, it knew the cosmic whole. Just how it is there, how he is equipped, how he is prepared, and what is the real position. His soul had peace, it knew the cosmic whole. Then suddenly a luminous finger fell. Already we have seen that luminous finger, a ray of light, on all things seen or touched or heard or felt, and showed his mind that nothing could be known. Nothing could be known. That must be reached from which all knowledge comes. That must be reached where from which all knowledge comes. The skeptic ray disrupted all that seems and smote at every roots the thought and sense. Again, we can go in a universe of nescience, they have grown aspiring towards the superconscient sun. In universe of nescience, aspiration for the superconscient sun. Again, a doubt corroded even the means to think. Disrupt his throne, was thrown upon mind's instruments. All that it takes for reality is suning coin. So everything is failure. There is a disruption. A labor in the dark, dazzled by half light. What it knew was an image of a broken glass. What it saw was real, but its sight untrue. What it knew was image of a broken in a broken glass. What it saw was real, but its sight untrue. All ideas in its vast repertoire were like the mutterings of a transient cloud that spent itself in sound and left no trace. Again, we can find only a gleam was there of symbol facts that shroud the mystery lurking in their glow, and a falsehood based on hidden realities. Falsehoods based on hidden realities by which they live until they fall from time. Again, our mind is a house haunted by the slain past. Beautiful description. Our mind is a house haunted by a slain past. Ideas soon mummified, ghosts of old desire, truths. God's spontaneity is tied with formal strings and packed into drawers of regine's triumvirate. So things are fast, changing fast, and we can see in the self of mind that great description. Its highest wisdom was a brilliant guess. It's a mighty structured science of the world's a passing light on being's surfaces. Just imagine. And then we can see existence self was shadowed by a doubt. Almost it seemed a lotus leaf afloat on a nude pool of cosmic nothingness. Again, here in the course, here, deep peace was there, but not the nameless force. Deep peace was there, but not the nameless force. Our sweet and mighty mother was not there, who gathers to her bosom her children's lives, her clasp that takes the world into its arms, into the fathomless rapture of the infinity. The bliss is the creation's splendid grain, or the white passion of the God ecstasy that loves in the blaze of boundless heart of love. Just imagine how that big description, the bliss that is creation's splendid grain. Creation's splendid grain is bliss, or the white passion of the God ecstasy, that bliss that loves in the blaze of the boundless heart of love. A greater spirit than the self of mind must answer to the questioning of his soul. Already no questions are there, but met with no answer. Call is there, but unanswered. But here, spirit here in the course, a greater spirit than the self of mind must answer to the questioning of the soul. For here was no firm clue and no sure road. High climbing pathways seized in the unknown. So something has to come, something has to change. Again, a part experience fragmented the whole. A part experience fragmented the whole. He looked up, but all was blank and still. A sapphire firmament of the abstract sight escaped into the formless vacancy. He looked above, all was blank and still. He looked below, but all was dark and mute. A noise was heard between of thought and prayer. A strife, a labor without end or pause. Nothing has been finished, no ultimate peak can be found. A vain and ignorant seeking raised its voice. A rumor and a movement and a call, a foaming mass, a cry innumerable, rolled over upon the ocean surge of life. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully and towards the bottom end of the discussion. A nothingness parent to the struggling world. A nothingness, capital N, parent to the struggling worlds. A huge creator death, a mystic void, forever sustaining the irrational cry, forever excluding the supernal word, motionless, refusing question and response. Already we have seen. A huge creator death, a mystic void, forever sustaining the irrational cry, forever excluding the supernal word, motionless, refusing question and response, reposed beneath the voices and the marks. Again, two firmaments of darkness and of light opposed their limits to the spirit's work. Two firmaments of darkness and light. One is darkness, second is light. Opposed their limits to the spirit's work. Anyway, we are almost touching the concluding portion of the discussion here in the course. Whatever has been Sri Aurobindo has quoted here, we will find beautifully, very interestingly. It is in 2 or 3 lines. A greater spirit than the self of mind was found Asapati's seeking soul. Greater spirit beyond than self of mind. So there is no answer. Questions met with no answer. And Sri Aurobindo expects the greater spirit than the self of mind must have found if the Asapati's seeking soul is to be satisfied. Another greatness should be reached. Another great answer should come. Asapati looks above, but all was blank and still. Again looks down below, all is dark and mute. In between there is a great stir of life. Already we have seen and we have experienced. Of course, we have little bit discussed realms of the ignorance. Above, looked above, all was blank and still. Looked down below, everything was dark and mute. In between, realms of ignorance. We can find the three things. The soul wanders between these two firmaments, darkness and light. One is darkness and the second is light. Actually, soul is wanders between two firmaments, the inconscient and the superconscient, the darkness and the light. To this glorious description, of course we are trying to quote Sri Aurobindo's original, from the original lines, original description things what you really Sri Aurobindo quotes here. In a world of beings and momentary events where all must die to live and live to die, immortal by renewed mortality. Just imagine how this immortality can be achieved. What is the precondition and how it will be successful here in the course. In a world of beings and momentary events, where all must die to live or live to die. Two things can happen: all die to live or live to die. Immortal by renewed mortality. Mortality to be renewed to achieve the immortal by renewed mortality. Against here in the course, concluding couple of lines. It wandered in the spiral of its acts. It wandered in the spiral of its acts, or ran around the cycles of thoughts, initially spiral of acts and cycles of its thought. It was no more than this original self, and knew no more than when it first began, only circling round, and that is cycles, spirals and all. To be was a prison, extinction the escape. Just imagine. Come to the Savitri consciousness and feel, and get enlightened, get widened and feel. To be was a prison, extinction the escape. So with this great line we are trying to conclude the topic, and we will expect the next one very shortly. Thank you. Vande Mataram.